Yeah, so just let us know as you guys have questions. We can take you through how Splay works, what it does, what makes it unique, all the cool stuff we've had to develop through the years. So just let us know as you have questions. If you want to see any content on Splay, we're extremely grateful for the support on the Kickstarter so far. So we've hit, I think, $200,000 in the first 5 days or so here. So it's really cool to see. And this is Splay. I'm Alex. This is George. We've spent years developing it. It's really us on the ground doing everything. It's taken a lot of work. We have patents on the screen, the retractable arms, and we developed a fully custom pico projector on the back. That's the only ultra short throw pico projector currently on the market. And there's a lot of other items George can go through too.
Your laptop is blocking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you tell them about the screen, like what makes it unique.
Yeah, so our screen is a special projection screen that we spent a long time into developing. Because for a traditional projector screen, the problem you have is first it's very susceptible to environmental light. So like in a bright environment, you can see the windows very bright. The screen will look very dim. The next is obviously you cannot crease it because our screen you have to fold this way, that way, like back and forth 4 or 5 times. And the next time you use it, it still needs to be wrinkle free.
Show the pop up too. Let's keep going. So this is how you fold.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the only projection screen or display material on the market that you can fully fold down like this.
Right. And so how you process light, because for a traditional rear projection screen, if you project directly onto it and your eyes stares into it, you'll see a very bright spot in the center that's called a hotspot, and you wouldn't be able to read much because that hotspot is too obvious and hurts your eyes. But this image you can see is very even out throughout the brightness, and that's some signs and particulars we have to develop ourselves and add to the screen material.
Yeah, so and then also the fabric on the back, so we can talk about the shroud, the arms.
Didn't you have a list of every question? Wolf?
Oh, is the screen new since Spud? Oh, you can answer that.
Yeah, it's very different from Spud screen. First, the screen material itself transmits almost twice as much light as Spud, so you get much higher brightness for this unit than Spud. And also the contrast and the bright center spot are all improved based on our version 1. We actually work with a world-renowned R&D agency to develop that material. Multiple PhDs work on it for over a year to do that.
Yeah, we did a lot of back and forth with them. We developed an entire, so with the Nanomaterial Science Research Institute, like George said, we worked with them for over a year. Extremely experienced nano materials PhD level researchers. And then we also had to develop an entirely new supply chain to support the new formula of how we're making the screen. And it's just drastically improved on the technical side. So it's much brighter, it has higher contrast, and it's also significantly easier to manufacture than the one we did with the first version of our product. So that's a great question, Adam. So connecting to Splay. So right now it's connected to my phone. So through the USB-C to HDMI adapter that we bundle as an add-on on the Kickstarter. I usually connect it to my laptop as my main working screen every day at our office. So I go back and forth through that, connecting through HDMI or the USB-C adapter. You can also connect the wireless dongles like the Microsoft wireless adapter. Brief connection delay. So the screen size. So Splay is, so this is my 15-inch laptop. It's about 3 times bigger the screen area than my laptop. A typical laptop compared to a phone, it's about 30 times the screen area. So the main thing of why you'd want Splay is for the large and portable screen. So it's just much bigger than any other portable display on the market. It only weighs 2.5 pounds, and also has the projector mode, so you can remove the screen material and project over ultra short throw. So keep going on the questions. The Splay improvements. So I talked about the screen already. There's also the back. So we have this all new X-Wing design that looks really cool on the back of Splay. We have developed an entirely new fabric supply chain. So the main purpose of what we call this shroud, this fabric part that goes over the arms and connects to our screen material, is to help with the design, but also to block out any light from hitting the back of the screen. So that's why we've made the material black. So it's entirely new design. We worked with an Australian industrial design firm called SoftServe on the fabric design. And they're the ones who drove the idea of doing this X-Wing like design that we have right now. There's also new things that we've developed. The chassis design. So we worked with our industrial designer Mark for the Splay chassis, just like our first product. It has the slider on the back, so you can see Splay is written, and that's what we use to fold down and pop up your Splay. Let's turn it off. We also have
I think they cannot see it.
So we have the focus adjustment here. So just to change the focus of your Splay. This button goes between projector mode and display mode. So basically what happens is when you remove the shroud and the arms and go into projector mode, the image will be flipped when you're projecting on a wall. And so you just press this button and it flips the image back, and it puts in the right orientation, and it also turns on the auto keystone correction that we have. There's also the brightness adjustment, so lower and higher, sound adjustment, and then the power for turning on and off, and then checking the LED level of your Splay. So when it's at 4 light right now, it means your Splay is fully charged. Also connection, HDMI, USB-C charging, as well as USB-A for using it as a power bank, or also for connecting wireless adapters and powering the wireless adapters. And arguably the most important new item with Splay is that we developed a fully custom projector. So it's an extremely high quality projector. It's the only ultra short throw full HD pico projector on the market. All the other pico projectors that are full HD and ultra short throw, none of them are battery powered. Most of them are 3, 4, 5 times the volume, at least twice the weight of Splay, so they're not very portable at all. So it's a very unique projector that we've developed. And so speaking of projector, so to go to projector mode, it's very easy. So you can just open up the back of the shroud. And you just remove the arms. And then you're in the projector mode. And so you can see the aperture of the lens here. So that's the new pico projector that we've developed. We've put a lot of R&D into that as well. The major advancements that drive everything that's new is the major R&D that we put into this new projector, and then the screen material. But we've also made improvements on everything else. Obviously we released our first product like 5 years ago is when we first did, 5 or 6 years ago. So in that time, we've definitely learned a lot. We've learned how to set up the supply chain, how to manage suppliers, where it's just a much stronger product on the engineering side, the R&D side, and the supply chain side. And then projector mode, I'll blind you briefly. But
I don't think you can see it.
I can see the light coming out. So, so that's so. But typically for projector mode, we suggest connecting to a tripod. So we have this tripod screw outlet. How far away does it need to be from a wall? So it only, to just get an 80-inch image, it just needs to be 2 feet away. So it has much shorter throw ratio than any other pocket projector on the market. So you just tilt it. So if you want to shift the image up, you would just tilt it up on your tripod, or you can just put it on top of something, and then the image will tilt up, and then the auto keystone will adjust the trapezoid effect. So you get a very big image very quickly with the Splay projector mode. It's a really cool product. Like, it's the only one that has the ultra short throw pico projector. It's the only expandable display currently on the market. It's the only 2-in-1 display and projector. It's just extremely unique. We have people using it for a lot of different ways, like mobile work, presentations, trade shows, large screen for mobile gaming, disaster relief applications, law firms, large engineering firms, construction firms. So they really run a full gamut of all these different really cool ways that people have discovered to use our first product. And Splay is just significantly more advanced than what we did before. It's at a whole another level, multiple levels.
I'm gonna put it back in.
Okay, so George is gonna put us back into display mode so you can see how that works. So yeah, the difference between this projector and every other pico projector on the market is that it's the only one that's full HD, ultra short throw, and portable. So there are other full HD pico projectors on the market, but they all require 3, 4, 5 times as much projection distance. So when you're in a relatively small room like here, or oftentimes you're dealing with a extremely inconvenient setup. When we first started our first project back in 2000, actually when I was even first considering the idea in 2014, I bought a normal pico projector. I lived in not a super small apartment, but a relatively small apartment. And I could never find a good place to really put the projector that made sense. With Splay's pico projector, it's just, you put it right next to a wall, tilt it a little, and it's like pretty much good to go anywhere. And you're getting a really huge image very quickly. You have to plug me back in. So we'll adjust the focus too. Still not in focus. Keep your questions going, guys. Center the image. There. Yeah, the brightness. So this is, are we at the highest or this? No, so that was at the second highest. So at the highest brightness, it's about 800 nits. So it's natively brighter than most displays. It's bright enough for pretty much all indoor environments. How big is the carrying case? You can
like this. It's about the size of my hand, I guess. Slightly larger.
Yeah, I don't think you have overtly big hands. But the cool thing about it is that it's got this flap, so when Splay is in the case, you can easily charge it without taking it out. And then it also has this pocket on the back. I don't know if I have anything to put in, but but I put my cables in here. So before we were setting it up, and I took my Splay over here, I had my USB-C to HDMI and my HDMI in there. So it's very convenient for carrying cables. So that's one thing that our Spud backers really wanted to improve, because with Spud, we just had this cover, basically, we call it a cover, right? That protected over the top of it, but it wasn't a fully inclusive case. It wasn't a very, I guess it was relatively functional, but it had some inconveniences with it because it was always attached to the unit. The Splay case is just, much more refined. I'd say much more professional. And it has really cool functionality that, you see it when it's charging by opening the flap. And then you also get the pocket on the back. And it looks, it looks much sleeker than what we had. I mean, everything's just at a much, 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 much higher level than what we've done before. And it's a high-end product. I mean, there's no getting around that. Yeah, it's definitely more rugged. Although I'd say Spud was very ruggedized. It's more portable. It folds down to a smaller size. It weighs less. And it just has much, much more functionality. It gives much brighter image, much higher resolution image, much better supply chain, just everything. I mean, we stopped making Spud because it wasn't mass manufacturable. We basically only did the Kickstarter orders and stopped making it because it was too difficult to make. And so we stripped down everything we did with that and applied it to what we're doing with Splay. It's at a whole nother level. That's why we gave it a new name. Oh, okay. The DLP we're using. So we're using TI's smallest 1920 by 1080 chip so that we can have a portable and large screen. That's really what drove it. For future versions of Spud or Splay, where we have a larger one, we might go to a different chipset. But for what we're doing right now, this TI one makes a lot of sense. And you can read more about that in the Kickstarter FAQ. How the display quality compares to LCD. Yeah, we have the side by side. Let me turn up my brightness a little bit. So it's much more comparable than our first product was. In pretty much all lighting environments, it's very similar. It's a very high quality display. Changing the display angle. So on the back we have this kickstand that you can. It's difficult to see. There's a kickstand that you pull in and out, so that I'll do it with it out. So then it tilts the angle slightly, so it's more normal to the display surface. There's also some people who want to use Splay in portrait mode. That's pretty easy to do. You just can go like that and then change the orientation angle in your Windows PC, your Mac, or on Android and iPhone. You need a third-party dongle to do it, but it's doable. So we already went through projector mode. Testimonials. Will the screen wrinkle or crease? No, that's basically what our patents are for. Like, it's the only display material on the market you can fully fold down, and it doesn't have any defects. So even if you buy one of the new foldable phones, you can see the bump in the center. This, you fold it down, nothing. I think we could just go through like various things we've done. Do you want to talk more about the arms?
I think the arms are confidential.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I mean, if there's any other questions, let us know, like what you want to see on Splay, any content, any ideas. We're very grateful for the support on Kickstarter so far. It takes a real army to bring a product like this to manufacturing and to market. And we're really grateful for the support you guys have given us. So again, please reach out to us if you have any questions, ideas, feedback. We're very, very, very grateful for your support. So we'll end the stream.